Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff, coming to you on this, if you can believe it, Wednesday, November the 29th, 2017. And today I've got my next update video. Real quick here, you already know this, but this isn't going to be a very long video. I have exactly one project to show you that I've worked on. Some conversations about what's happened since then, and then I have some plans and some alternative plans and some, like, I've got to iron out my plans, and we're in the 11th hour. So yeah, that's really all I have to talk about. I have one purchase, second year in a row I made it through Black Friday with just one single purchase. Go me. Pat on the back there. No, that's not true. Never mind. But no books or knits this week. However, I think that next week I will have a knitting and a book update to talk to you about. The other thing is sort of the consolation for why this video isn't as long is that I will have my Nano Stitchmo vlog going up. I would like for it to go up tomorrow, but that's going to depend on some things. If not tomorrow, then Friday. It will be up this week. So you're kind of getting a double feature instead of one longer video. So sorry about it, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right on in. First of all, before I do, I should say, I just want to take a second to wish everybody in the United States, I hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and what it sounds like globally now that you've had a successful Black Friday and that you got all of the things that you wanted for pennies on the dollar. I do not believe in Black Friday shopping. Having worked in the restaurant business, and more specifically when I worked for IHOP in college, I have become very turned off to the idea of Black Friday because, and I don't mean to overgeneralize here, but a lot of people spend a bunch of money out shopping for things. They bicker and argue over materialistic things, and then they go to restaurants and they don't tip their server because they spent too much out shopping. And servers don't make holiday pay because it's Black Friday. They don't make anything more than the $2.13 an hour to cover taxes just because it's Black Friday. And so yeah, I have become a bit of a I don't want to say Scrooge, but maybe Scrooge is the word. I'm anti-Black Friday. Anyway, my brother-in-law, on the other hand, and his wife, they, Black Friday is their favorite holiday. Anyway, just difference of perspective. So, yeah, like I said, I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We did. We had 3 Thanksgivings this year, and an annual rivalry football game, and sort of a date day. It was a busy 5 days for us. We didn't go to In-Stitches because I don't know if this is the case where you all are, but here on the East Coast, and more specifically just south of DC, Wednesday before Thanksgiving is a mad travel day. We mapped it out. Under normal circumstances, it would take us about an hour to get to In-Stitches. Google Maps said 2 hours. So already, yeah, we just weren't going to do that. But instead we went to go see Thor Ragnarok, and it was great, and it was wonderful. Had a lot of fun with that. Just, I love that. I love that whole franchise. Just so much fun. And then on Thursday, we had Thanksgiving with Danny's parents and his younger brother and his grandmother. And so we hung out with them and we watched the NFL games on Thursday. On Friday, we had the big Virginia Tech versus UVA football game. Woohoo, go Hokies. We won 10-0. So it was definitely a defensive game. It's so much fun, in particular, going into Charlottesville and having a big victory like that, because so many Hokies show up for the game that it's almost a home game. Like, there are almost more Hokies there than the opponent. Yeah, it's bananas. So we are 14 years the holders of the Commonwealth Cup, and just to put it into perspective, our nephew on Danny's side is going to be a freshman in high school next year. He has never seen the Hokies lose to UVA in his lifespan. He's 14 years old. He's never seen a VT loss. See, we call him our good luck charm, so like he can never not go to the game, regardless of his feelings about football. So anyway, and then I have been to 2 games now in Charlottesville, and we have delivered a shutout both times. So this year it was 10-0. My first game at UVA was in 2011. Yeah, 2011 we won 38-0. So I'm starting to feel like a good luck charm a little bit. Anyway, so then Saturday morning, we get back from the game at about 1 in the morning. And then a few hours later, we got up and went to have Thanksgiving with my mom, and my brother, and my mom's husband, and my stepdad. I'm not going to go into the semantics of that. I understand that sounds confusing, but that's the reality of the situation. And so we were there for all day and had a big Thanksgiving dinner. And then on Sunday, we had Thanksgiving with Danny's other brother and Danny's aunts. Like I just mentioned, Danny's brother is a huge fan of Black Friday, and so they were out on Thanksgiving, and so we just decided to have a third Thanksgiving, another turkey, more mashed potatoes. I practically have the stuff coming out of my ears at this point. So anyway, it was a lot of go, and a lot of places to be, and so not a whole lot of stitching for those few days. Anyway, so let's go ahead and jump into the projects that I have to show you. Ironically enough, I have 0 whips to show you. Just a finish and then plans. So that's kind of fun. So let's go ahead and get started talking about the finish. Last week, I filmed last Tuesday, and I explained that all I had left to do on this project was the beads. And so that project is Elizabeth by Glendon Place. And so here's the chart and cover, and this is one of the Baroque Beauties collection. So these are stylized flowers in the Baroque, I guess, period style. And yeah, so you'll be seeing a preview here of what this looked like the last you saw it. And I don't know about you guys, but I grossly underestimated the amount of time that I thought it was going to take. There's not a whole lot of beads in this. I probably used maybe 75% of a whole pack of beads, and then 21 crystals. I thought for sure this was going to take me a couple hours and I'd be done. So 6 hours later, I was finally putting in the last bead. But she's done. Oh, you're picking up some of the light off those crystals. That's good. The crinic's still not showing, but that's okay. Yeah, so loving this. So this is finish number 19 for the year, and it is Year of Whips finish number 24. But it is likely to be my last Year of Whips finish because I just don't foresee being able to finish any of the rest of them by the end of the year, which is okay. I reached my goal as far as the ones that I decided about halfway through the year that I was going to really try to finish. I've reached that goal, so I'm not complaining. And yeah, love it. Fabric here is 32 count Belfast in Buttercup by Under the Sea Fabrics, and I meant to talk about that just now. That's really the reason the beading took me so long. Hand-dyed fabric shrinks. We all know this. I've said it several times. This is not news. So tell me why I spent an exorbitant amount of time trying to get 6 beads to sit side by side on this hand-dyed 32 count fabric. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, I spent probably 2 hours trying to make that work. And then I had to admit defeat and rip it all out and try again and edit where I needed to. So for instance, this, I guess, blob of beads here is supposed to have 2 more pink beads, but I edited those out. So you still have the pink center in amongst the cream beads there, but it's just not as big of a pink center, which is okay. And that chart just jumped off the side of the desk. Anyway, so yeah. The other thing that I wanted to talk about were these crystals. The way that it's charted is that the crystals, they are Milhelm Margarita beads. It's charted to, you basically attach them like you would a sequin. And so you come up through the crystal and then go through a size 11 bead that's complementary, either the same color or just something that looks nice with it, and then back down through the crystal, through your fabric, and then continue on your merry way. Well, I hated the way that looked. I didn't like, it was so dimensional, it was such a protrusion from the fabric, I thought it looked silly, on top of the fact that the bead never sat the same way, and so one would be like this, and the other would be like this, and then another like I mean, it was all cockeyed and weird. I didn't love it, and I didn't ever feel like the crystals were on there securely enough. And so that was kind of an easy thing for me to just be like, no, this is not working for me. I had to find some other way to do things. So what I ended up doing is that I would come above where the crystal should go, bring my thread up, then go down through the bead at the center, and then come up underneath the crystal and then back down through the center. And so what you see here, what you may be able to see, is that there's a line of thread going down the center. And so there's a little bit on the top and a little bit on the bottom on those crystals. And so they're securely attached. They don't have the stupid bead on top. And it's all uniform. So that thread is in the same spot on every one of them. So I'm much more comfortable with that. So yeah, love this. So after this here, I'm going to insert a clip. What I did is I took some video with my phone and sort of scanned over it in the light so that you can catch really the level of sparkle. I mean, there's like 75% of a pack of beads and these crystals and 5 spools of Kreinik in this thing. So I really want the sparkle to come across. And so I took a couple minute video, and so I'm going to insert that here so that you can see it. So yeah, finishing that was really great. I really, really love that. I love how sparkly it is. I love the contrast with the fabric. I've been asked throughout the whole process of working on this project, how do you feel about that fabric, that yellow fabric? And I love it. It's like one of my favorite fabric choices I have ever made in the history of my stitching. And so yeah, zero doubts, zero regrets, love it. Just, I love the whole project. And it was nice to be sort of thinking about my grandma because, as you guys know, Elizabeth was my grandma's name, and so leading into the Thanksgiving holiday, I'm thinking about her and family, and admittedly getting all sorts of homesick. But yeah, it was good. It was good to work on that. So yeah. So like I said, that's when I finished that last Wednesday. So what happened after that? It's been a week since then. So on Thursday, we went over to Danny's parents at around 2, I want to say, 2 in the afternoon. And so I had the morning where I could stitch on some things. And so I made 2 new starts. And neither of which I will be showing you. At least not yet. So I started my ornaments for the FlossTube ornament swap organized by Drew at Weasley Studios. And he so very graciously asked me to join in, and so I was like, woohoo, yes, please. That's a lot of fun. And then I did what I always do, and I bit off more than I can chew, and then I saved it all to the last minute. Yeah. And what that resulted in is furious stitching. So trying really hard to get them done so that I can get them FFO'd in time to ship out tomorrow, if not first thing Friday morning. Because that's when they are due to go out. And yeah, like I said, I bit off more than I can chew. Why? I don't know. Apparently I think very highly of my stitching abilities and how fast I can stitch. It's just bananas. I've had to edit it myself. I've had to rein it back in a little bit. And so I am now finished the ornaments, so I officially have 21 finishes for the year. But I can't show you those until they are received and such. So I will share them. I'll take pictures and all that jazz to show you after they're received and whatnot. But they are finished. I just have to fully finish them. So, very exciting. And I put in the final stitches on the second one Sunday? Yeah. No, Monday. And then I was going to do a third one, but the third one's not working out, so that's okay. Our requirement was 1 ornament, and it didn't even have to be fully finished, so I'm all right. It's all good. So my stitchy bug has been a little bit weird as of late, if I'm honest. And so I think that there are probably 2 primary reasons for that. First of all, I'm really starting to feel the full coverage draw. I haven't worked on anything full coverage since finishing Faces of Fairy at the end of October, so it's been a little while since I've really gotten to sink my teeth into some full coverage. And the other reason is that obligatory stitching sometimes it's detrimental to a stitchy bug. I had to get those ornaments done. I had to work on those. I had to prioritize them, but as a consequence, there were 73 other projects that were forgotten about. What was it? Bendy Stitchy Michelle, she said that there is a special ring in hell reserved for people who are involved in a swap and ship out late. Yeah. I don't plan on going to that special ring. So I've had to prioritize. So like it's a catch-22. So it's been complicated trying to figure out what I want to do for the month of December because and really for these last couple days for November, because my stitchy bug's been weird. And so I've got 3 schools of thought, at least for these last couple days of November. So a part of me kind of wants to just move on into December now. And then I will do these, I've picked 6 projects that I'm working on in December, and so I could potentially drag them in here to November for these last couple days. That's school of thought number 1. School of thought number 2 is Nano Stitch Mo. I might have mentioned it in my video last week, and if I didn't, then I have mentioned it elsewhere, but my next project for Nano Stitch Mo is the Prairie Schooler alphabet on 40 count, and I don't really like to work on 40 count on my QSnap, and so I was waiting to finish Elizabeth before I could go back to that. So I still have 8 projects for Nano Stitch Mo, and so theoretically I could finish them out and then achieve that year-end goal of staying current on all of my WIPs and essentially giving all of them a little bit of attention here in 2017. So there's that school of thought. Nano Stitch Mo for these last 2 days. It will be a struggle because it is already 2:15 in the afternoon. I still have to edit and upload this, and I have some other things I have to do today. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that comes to fruition. The other school of thought, and this sort of bleeds into December a little bit, and that is finishing. I have been very successful this month and back in October at finishing things, and it has felt really good to clear projects off. As it stands currently, I will end the year with more WIPs than I started with. And with 21 finishes, I'm still ending the year with more WIPs than I started with, on top of, what, the 7 or 8 projects that I UFO this year? Like, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me that I'm ending with more than I started the year with. So, a part of me wants to kind of focus on finishing, and finishing some of these smaller things that I think I could knock out relatively quickly. I've got Mill Hill kits still hanging around that I haven't touched, and I have Dreamcatcher that's really close to done. There's also the added benefit of finishes equals Stitch from Stash budget money to maybe have a glimmer of hope at reaching the black. I don't think it's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. But, you know, it's still sort of a school of thought. So I have to think about it, and so I'll think about it while editing and uploading, and I guess we'll see what happens as of next week. You guys will find out. But, yeah. So let's talk about December. We'll sort of skip over these last 2 days of November. We'll see what happens with that. And I'll talk about these projects here. So when I came up with these 6 projects, I was including these 2 days. I have 2 planned new starts for the month of December. I have Lady of the Flag, which Bendy Stitchy and I are going to Sal, and we are starting that on December 7th, which is Pearl Harbor Day, which I think is a fabulous opportunity to start it. And so we're starting that next Thursday. And I would like to give that at least 3 days, if not more, but 3 days right off the bat, just dedicated focus days on that. Then on the 21st is the first challenge in Full Coverage Fanatics. And that is it's the first quarterly seasonal challenge, which is winter, and I will be starting Snow Castle by Randall Spangler for Heaven and Earth Designs, and I'll stick in the preview of what it's going to look like. So I'm starting that on the 21st. There are also 3 days that I can look at right now and think that I might not get to stitch at all, and so I've blacked those out on my calendar, so to speak. So if you take those 9 days out of December, but then add in these 2, we get a total of 24 days. And what I have found is that after about 3 or 4 days of dedicated focus stitching, I want to switch. And so I gave each of these projects 4 days, and so that's 24 days, so the math works out pretty nicely. So we have 6 projects here. So, you guys know me. I'm all about that indecision. All about it. I am so good at not deciding things. So I let somebody else decide for me. And so this morning I had a conversation with Shannon, who is Soldier Stitcher. Yes, Soldier Stitcher Shannon, here on FlossTube. And so she sacrificed some of her stitching time to help choose 6 of my 73. And so I'm going to show you what those 6 are. And hopefully I can get a good chunk into each of these in the month of December, depending on what happens here. Okay, so the first one is a Mania 2017 start, and these are in no particular order. I have ordered them for when I'm going to work on things, but not here. So I'll just show you them. So the first one is the Summer Sampler by the Cooler Design Studio, and Shannon picked this one because she says, quote unquote, it's cold in Virginia. It's not cold in Virginia. Shannon's just a wuss as far as the cold is concerned. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Getting back to this, I remember when I started this for Mania this year, I was only supposed to give each of my starts an hour, and I ended up working on this until I didn't feel like it anymore. This gorgeous sunflower needle minder. So this is on a 32 count Belfast in cream by Zweigart. And that was my start for Mania. So a pretty decent start. But obviously, oodles to go. Okay. Next is Santa Coming to Town by Stitch Rovia. And this gorgeous reindeer needle minder. Shannon picked this because it's December, so we need something Christmassy. Wholeheartedly agreed. And so I don't know if I mentioned, this was a Mania 17 start as well. This is on 32 count Belfast in Ice Crystals by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie, I do believe. And so that was my Mania start there. And I cut my fabric in half, so there's that gorgeousness. Okay. Next is one that I wish she didn't pick, but that's okay. It will be fine. I'll work on it because she told me and she's the boss of me. This is Clouds Factory's Game of Thrones house banners. And the reason that I didn't want to work on this is I have recently worked on this for Nano Stitchmo, so I guess you're about to get a spoiler, but whatever. And I'm still in the Stark house banner right there. And so it's just white for days. And it's not even B5200, it's Blanc, which, you know, is finicky, shall we say. So there's that one, and this is on a 28, what are you? 28 count cashel linen in Ale by Picture This Plus. And so here is your spoiler alert. So I still have probably 20 rows of white left to do, and then I've got to go back in and fill in some of the things. So there's that. This Ale is gorgeous. Yep, that's pretty. Speaking of fabric, I have decided on fabric for Lady of the Flag. I ordered something simple, something not too overpowering. Sort of made the decision not to go up to end stitches because I didn't feel like it. So yeah, but I'll show that to you next week when it comes in. Okay, next is something that I'm going to have to restart, but Shannon says that coffee is life, so we're going to work on Coffee Break. And this is by Design Works. However, The only thing that I'm using from this is the chart. So this is on, I subbed in 28 count antique white cashel linen from Zweigart. And this is where I got from Mania, but all of that is going to have to be ripped out. Because DesignWorks floss is not DMC. It's not. And it doesn't sit right, it doesn't lay right, and that's what I used there for those first few stitches. I used the kit floss, but I don't like it, so I'm going to rip it out and start over. Yay! Okay, next, I'm really glad that she picked this one. She picked Rose Fairy by Joan Elliott. This is my oldest WIP, started in summer 2014. And this is a Year of WIPs project, so I will technically still be sort of thinking about the Year of WIPs. So there's that, and Fairy Door Needle Minder there. And this is on 28 count Lugana in Confetti by Picture This Plus. This is another really sweet yellow. And I'm working the bottom half here. So that's where I'll be starting from here in December. And then the last one is one that I picked because I'm just kind of in the mood to work on this. I have almost ordered a design in this style approximately 18 times over the last few weeks, so I must be in a mood for Quaker. And so this is Opus 2 by Long Dog Samplers, aka Maggie. And this is also a Year of WIPs piece. And if I decide to pull these projects into November here for these last couple days, then this is the first one going on my frame. Because I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood for this. And this is also on 28 count cashel in Antique White by Zweigart. And also Year of WIPs and a 2015 WIP. Which, as you guys know, 2014 and 2015 projects are my focus next year. Time to take those babies out. Yeah, this might be deciding it for me. I'm really, really in the mood for this. So I might as well just go with it. If my Stitchy Bug's being weird, right? Right? That's what we do. If your Stitchy Bug's being weird, you give it what it wants. It wants Quaker. It wants 6 preloaded needles and to just stitch away. So yeah, that's happening. So you'll be seeing next week where I get on this over these next few days. So then that means that I have to come up with a plan for Year of WIPs, or not Year of WIPs, Nano Stitch Mill. I either need to just end it here or somehow find a way to do both. We'll see. See what happens. So anyway, so those are the 6. Those are the December 6. I am working on my rotation for January moving forward because of the full coverage Fanatics challenges and everything else. I'm working on how I'm going to organize things, but I'll talk to you guys about that. I have a plan in place for my knitting in 2018, which I'm really kind of looking forward to. It's focused, but I'm getting to work on the things that I want to, if that makes sense. So that's kind of exciting. And what else? Actually, in my head just now, I just amended my knitting plans for next year. Books. I'm also thinking about books, whether I'm going to do the Pop Sugar Challenge or the All Through the Year Challenge that Ann P has talked about on her channel previously, or if I'm just going to read what I want. Highly likely. We'll see what happens. So let's real quick switch gears and I'll show you what I bought. And it's just one thing. I decided to partake in the Heaven and Earth Designs Black Friday sale. There is a chart that I have been eyeing for a little while here, but I told myself I wasn't going to buy it at full price. I was just going to get it either when Faces of Fairy is eligible to participate in the reward program, which I believe starts December 30th, or if it went on sale. And Heaven and Earth had a 35% off sale for Black Friday, so I bought it. And it is mislabeled. It should not be called this, but it is. It is Quick Stitch Day and Night, and it is by Nadia Strelkina. And you'll be seeing a preview here of what this looked like. The reason that I laugh at the title is that it's called a quick stitch, but it's definitely not. I think the charted design size on 25 count is 21 by 16, and that's charted 1/1 on 25 count, so it's like 530 by 400 stitches, something large. But the reason that it's called Quick Stitch is that it is half of the full design by Nadia Strelkina, Day and Night, and so I'll insert a preview of that. She actually has 2 artworks by the same name called Day and Night, but this one, I like the way that this one is done a little bit better. And I don't care for the top. The figure on the day portion looks like an angel or a cherub. I don't care for that, but the bottom part has this nighttime fantasy feel to it. She's holding the moon, and every time I look at it, I see something different, which is one of my favorite things. I love that. There's moths and an owl, and there are cats sort of slinking around in the castle. It's just, and bats. It's all just so beautiful, and I love the color of it. So yeah, it may be making an appearance next year. I may start it next year or not. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. My Heaven and Earth Designs rules are in place for that project, so yeah, we'll see if I ever get that started. Maybe not. So yeah, so that was my only purchase. One little Hade. So that's all I have for you today. Told you it was a quick one. I don't think we broke 40 minutes here. That's unusual. So with that, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support of me and my channel. I will see you later this week with my Nano Stitch Mill vlog, whatever that turns out to be. And I hope that you are well, and I will see you next time. All right, y'all. Be kind.